GoFirst might have just secured funding of over 400 crore rupees. Some media outlets say it's 425 crores, while others say 450 crore rupees. This new round of funding has been approved, has been given an in-principle nod by GoFirst's creditors or lenders, and now all that's awaited is an approval from the boards of the banks in question. And if everything goes off smoothly, we're looking at GoFirst taking to the skies again by the month of July. At least that's what it's looking like. Let's try to understand the story better. Karthik Malhotra has been tracking this very closely. Karthik, talk to us. Everybody's waiting with bated breath. We need GoFirst back in the skies. But from what I see, what we have right now is speculation, but good, positive speculation.
Part speculation, part fact. Fact that yes, there has been an approval from at least 3 creditors that we know of. This includes IDBI Bank, Bank of Baroda and Central Bank of India. These 3 creditors have decided that they are going to approve the fresh infusion of upwards of 400 crore rupees. 425, 450, we don't know, both numbers are floating right now. This actually is in addition to the already 6,500 crore rupees that GoFirst owes to its creditors. So actually its books are going to swell up by another 400, 450 odd crores, taking it close to about 7,000 crore rupees on its books. Now,
Ouch.
that is a big number, right? So at what point is GoFirst, even if it were to resume operations in July, as is being reported right now, how much time before GoFirst flies into profitability and flies into getting rid of all the debt on its books? So that, of course, is going to be a long-haul flight for GoFirst, and I think a red-eye one at that. But what we know for sure is that GoFirst has got a fleet of 22 aircraft which are serviceable, flyworthy, they can be taken off, right? And about 78 routes can be flown using these 22 aircraft. So GoFirst has been at least alluding to the fact that it wants to take off quickly. There has been a change of the IRP, the Interim Resolution Professional. Shailendra Ajmera is the person who's drafted out this new roadmap for GoFirst to take off. And things are looking a little better than what they were looking before we went into the weekend. And of course, as you said, 2nd May is when GoFirst filed for voluntary insolvency. Unlike SpiceJet, which is being forced by lessors into involuntary insolvency. So GoFirst was a little smarter, was a little quicker in understanding that there is a financial crunch and we have a problem with engines that have grounded 50% of our fleet, Pratt & Whitney US engines, which have grounded about 50% of its fleet, due to which the financial crunch is going to become even more severe. So it decided to go in for voluntary insolvency. And thereafter, successively every week, it kept cancelling its scheduled flights for the next week, for the next 3 days, for the next 10 days, and so on. Now we don't have a cancellation for the month of July. And if that doesn't come out this week, then it definitely seems like GoFirst is going to take to the skies sooner than perhaps, mid of July. But of course, people who will not be happy with this, of course, we are going to rejoice, because flight tickets that we want to book out of our own money, not really company travel, is hopefully going to become less expensive. Because if you remember, airfares have been shooting as high as 3x, 4x, even 5x. So of course, consumers like us, flyers like us, are going to breathe a sigh of relief. But I don't think it's great news for the Tata, Vistara, Air India combine, as well as Indigo, which have happily chomped away at GoFirst's share of skies, and the 6.8 to 7.5% market share that GoFirst had up until end of April 2023 has been beautifully eaten away by, in a large chunk, by Indigo, and a close second being the Tata, all the airlines and the Tata stable combined. So together, these 2 airlines are pretty much commanding a duopoly in the market, which is shooting up prices, and they have upwards of 85% of market share right now.
Right. And my question is, at this stage, is very simple. Demand has only been growing and growing in the post-pandemic world.
Absolutely.
We are officially in the post-pandemic world. The World Health Organization has officially declared that the COVID-19 pandemic is not a critical threat anymore.
That's right.
In the post-pandemic world, we're looking at air travel, domestic air travel getting back to pre-pandemic levels, if not higher. And some of the numbers so far in this year have shown the fact that we're either back at pre-pandemic levels or domestic travel has possibly grown, during the course of the pandemic. Yeah. And so, in that sense, another airline, and plus you're looking at the rebrand and relaunch of the entire Air India group, all of this should augur well for as far as meeting the increased demand for air travel in the country is concerned, Karthik.
Absolutely, you're right. So there is demand almost touching the pre-pandemic levels. We aren't there yet. But remember, pre-pandemic is also 2019 until when we had Jet Airways also flying. Right. So 2019 was a major milestone and a dark one at that for Indian aviation, where Jet Airways actually got grounded and it's yet to take off. But coming back to the demand function, of course, demand and supply both need to work in tandem. And what is really happening is that because of the shortage of supply, with airlines like Jet Airways being grounded for over 4 years and GoFirst also not in operations for the last 2 years.
And many of the smaller ones like Carnival,
Paramount, many of them have pretty much landed and haven't taken off. Now, and you've had entry of, let's say, Air Akasa,
yes,
which is not flying too many sectors still, right? And it has a much smaller fleet as compared to the large domestic carriers. So what really happens is, in this era where the demand for travel is high, but supply is not able to meet that demand, the price equilibrium is being met at a much higher point, which means ticket prices have become expensive because there is as much demand as there was 3 years, 4 years ago, but supply has dwindled drastically. And this means that the price economics are going to get met at a much higher plane in the price graph.
I know, Karthik, that's the reason why I kept asking you this question, because, whether Indigo's market share gets eaten away or, Air India, as far as you and me and all those watching this is concerned, we're just waiting for some sanity when it comes to, air ticket prices. Because, I know people, Karthik, who are just converting their domestic holidays into international holidays because some of those routes end up being cheaper. Because we're smack in the middle of travel season, holiday season at the end of the day. And True. I know it for a fact that some people have changed, domestic destinations to a Southeast Asian country or a Dubai or one of those, because they're able to get a sane airfare. Even you took a holiday out of the country recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to Hong Kong, but yeah, unfortunately, the tickets were as expensive, if not more expensive, than what the Delhi-Leh air tickets were costing soon after GoFirst landed. So prices for the Delhi-Leh sector, which was a frequent sector for GoFirst, were as expensive as about 36,000 rupees.
That's a ticket to Hong Kong.
That's almost a ticket to Hong Kong. So I paid about 40,000 for my ticket to Hong Kong. But yeah, if you were to look at, let's say, Delhi-Ahmedabad, which is flying at about 22,000 rupees right now, it could easily get you a ticket to Bangkok.
Exactly. And also, the problem with Delhi-Ahmedabad route, Karthik, since I've flown this route several times, is that there are no flights at a decent time in the morning. All the flights are 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning, and they all cost 20,000 rupees upwards.
True,
and I was like, what am I paying for in the first place? Not even a decent time to take the flight.
So don't look west, look east. You should have flown to Bangkok instead.
Well, I'm just hoping, with this discussion, post this discussion, in a couple of weeks from now, we'll be discussing how soon we can get a GoFirst ticket. How soon GoFirst will come back into our apps, and we have that option, and prices start rationalizing, ladies and gentlemen. We're keeping a track of that. We'll soon tell you how soon you can start comfortably booking your domestic air travel tickets.